Alright guys, thought I'd do a quick video showing you how to replace the mirror on a 2000 Toyota Camry here. I think some of the later 90s models are the exact same too. But my wife hit something, actually broke her mirror off, so I'm replacing this one. And I'm about halfway through here, so sorry about that. But just to give you a quick look at what you're dealing with here. There's a small speaker cover that goes right here. You can see it on the other side here, on the driver's side. That just yanks right off really easily when you open the door. And then under there's just 3 bolts. There's 2 here that'll be holding the actual speaker itself here, like that. They're 10mm bolts. And there's another guy all over here. And then it just yanks right off. It's super easy. Once you get it off, there's a cord that'll be running down through here. And if you see this white port, this is your power for defrost and adjustment. Most of them don't have defrost, it's just adjustment, but it depends on your trim. And then you do have to, in order to get in there and pull that off, you do have to kind of loosen up the door here. So there's a screw here. They're just Phillips screws. There's one way down in here. You can see I left that one in there. And then there's another one down there in that hole. And that's it. And then you also have to, on the door handle, there's a little screw in the cover. And be very careful, especially if you have the original ones. The plastic for these handles gets very fragile, and ask me how I know. They can break. This is a replacement one. You can see over here on this side the little screw I'm talking about, and then this outer plastic shield kind of rotates and twists off, and that'll give you enough space. You don't need to pull the whole door panel off. Like I said, it's just that one plug. And then you run your new mirror with the wires in there through there. This is about $30. Obviously this one is not a right color match, but this is a car with almost 300,000 miles on it. This is our beat around car, and you know, they run great. If you have one of these, you know how good they are. Actually, but this is gonna look a lot better than no mirror, so we're gonna pop that. All right, we're ready to fasten up the new one here. Like I showed you earlier, you got 3 holes. There's a bolt coming through here, bolt here, and bolt here, 10mm. Just gonna tighten that up real quick. No need for anything fancy, just a regular ratchet. Don't need to crank these down super tight. I'm going to go kind of crisscross and try and even out the pressure here. That way the top end isn't sticking out compared to the bottom end. This one we don't need the extension on. Alright, we finished snugging up the new mirror. So let's get this door panel back on. First up, just going to need a regular screwdriver. If you had a drill, obviously this will go a little faster, but you don't necessarily need one. There's a little small screw. This is the one that'll go up here on the left. I think it's a little easier to start with that one just because it's up here in the easiest spot, and it'll kind of hold the rest of the door a little bit for you. There's a little plastic nut that it kind of screws into on the back side here. Gotta try and line it up. You might have to pick up the door, kind of slide it around like I'm doing here. Okay. I had to just push mine to the left there a little bit and it just went right into place. There's that one. I think that these are actually supposed to have a little plastic cap to make them look a little nicer. This one's long gone, who knows where that's at, but so that one's good. Let's go with this guy next. This one is kind of a little blind because you gotta stick your screwdriver all the way back in there. Good thing is there's really not a lot of room for it to be out of place, so yep, like this one's already going. You want to make sure and try and line this up and keep it as snug as possible, because if you don't, you will notice it when the door's closed. You'll hear a slight wind out of it. Ask me how I know. This isn't the first time I've had this door panel off. And you got a plastic plug for this hole here. It's kind of angled, so there's a right and wrong way to do it. If you do it wrong, you'll know. I'm just gonna try. I'm gonna do my best here. I'm thinking it goes to where the angle is kind of sloping down like this. So we're gonna push that in there, see what it looks like. It's pretty easy to pull this back out if you don't like the way it looks. That's pretty good. Yeah, so slope down like this with the door, and that'll line up right. Okay, then we got our final screw with this under here, way down here. This one's another, really nowhere else to go except for where it needs to, so pretty easy. Just go until it's snug. Okay. And here's the tricky part, the door handle. Like I said before, be super careful. You know, this can be a little frustrating, especially if you're replacing the whole door handle itself, which is a job, but you gotta be careful with these plastics. They're very fragile, not very strong at all. So this kind of loops over, and it should kind of click into the base here. You might have to mess with the lock a little bit. Oh. And there we go. Not super smooth. It feels like you're going to break it the whole time, but that's how that goes. And then you just put this little screw back in here. Do not tighten this one down super tight, especially if you're working with the original handle. You can easily crack the whole outer casing that we just messed with there. So there it is, the door's back on. Now we just got to put our little speaker cover, which I've got right here. This is just press fit on. Goes on here like this, kind of loops into the door frame. If I can get it lined up here. There we go. That's it. All done. Mirror safely attached. All shiny and new, even though it's black. Honestly, I could not find a silver one. It really doesn't look too bad. What you could do, since it's a pretty easy job is for just replace both sides with a black one. It would be totally fine. No one would know the difference. But either that, or you could probably find a can of spray paint and paint it if you wanted. Like I said, this is a 300,000 mile vehicle, so we're just trying to get it legal. But that's how the job's done. Thanks for watching.